Swimming Pool International, the Swimming Pool Podcast.
A warm welcome to our International Swimming Pool Podcast. In front of me sits Angela Herrmann, Export Manager at Benke Manufacturing in Germany.
And in front of me sits Michael Fither, Export Manager at Fluvo Schmalenberger from Tübingen in Germany.
Today,
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Angela. How are you today?
I'm pretty well. We're in this beautiful Whitney, I have to say. And I haven't seen, since we live in mainland Europe, so much grassland for a long time, I really have to say.
Yes. I love Whitney. I've been here. I come here normally twice a year or so.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I just recommend, if you want to have a quiet, peaceful moment, just go to Whitney.
Yes. But more interestingly, we are sitting here today with Dan Phillips, Managing Director and owner of Lighthouse. And we are very exciting to learn more about and to get to know Dan better. And very much welcome, Dan. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, the topic really is why we're here today. It's called, your company is called Lighthouse, which I kind of already like a lot, to be honest, because it's not such a, Lighthouse is related to water at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
And I have been at your place where you also manufacture, and there is a lighthouse.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
In Plymouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the name Lighthouse actually derives from Plymouth, where one of the first lighthouses in the world was designed and built, and it's currently on the Hoe in Plymouth, right on the land. They moved it from a rock out at sea and brought it into land when they had to build a new one out on the Eddystone Rock, and it's called Smeaton's Tower. So Plymouth actually has a history of engineering and lighthouses, which all fit with the water.
Wow.
And that's where the name sort of derived from originally.
And you said it's the oldest maybe in the world. When was it built then?
I don't know. I'm not sure the exact date, but it was one of the first lighthouses in the world, was Smeaton's Tower.
So it's a couple of 100 years.
Yes, yeah. A long time, yeah. A few centuries.
Interesting. I never thought about this when hearing the name Lighthouse as a company name. But
Yeah, I really love it because it's really catchy, and you even have this cool story. But we are definitely not talking only about Lighthouse. It's because we call the podcast today Velocity, Swimjet, and much more.
Yeah.
And well, just start and tell us something. You are a family-owned business, as we probably Fluvo and Benke like a lot, no? And you call it's a Lighthouse Journey. So what is it?
Yeah, I think it's like any business. They evolve from scratch, from a seed in someone's mind originally. A bit of a background, I'm originally a pool engineer. Lived in the south of France for a long time, working on swimming pools. So that's where we got into the industry. On moving back to the UK, we started a pool company, standard end-user pool company, building pools down in Devon, which was very successful. And we had a lot of requests for swimming pool heat pumps at the time. Because of our history, well, my personal history being in France, at the time we imported heat pumps from France rather than going to a traditional UK distributor, because we didn't know them at that point. And then that grew over time, where that manufacturer was looking for a distributor in the UK. And because we had that contact, I speak French as well, we started to bring them in from France direct and then selling them to the trade, which is quite good. That company in France grew quite extensively with other products within their range, pool cleaners, robots, pumps, things like that. And over time, the business built from a pool company builder into a distribution company. And then in 2015, we decided to solely go into distribution and supply in the trade.
okay, and in between, you also, when I looked at your website, you also started this installation. You still do installations?
No, so 2015 we stopped working and doing installations with the public. Business
okay.
just got too busy. We're obviously doing some things right.
Yeah.
And I had to take the decision then, do we continue building pools, maintaining and servicing pools, or do we concentrate on the distribution and the product development and the engineering of how swimming pools work and bringing that to the UK market.
Ah, okay.
And you said distribution, but at the same time, you are a manufacturer.
Yeah, we are. And I think, very similar to the Benke story, we're a family-run business, and my natural being is to be curious. So over time, as we evolved doing distribution, we've seen gaps in the market. We've come up with ideas. My business manager, John Whiteside, he's very into developing new products as well. Been in the industry for 30 years himself. So we both have ideas. Some of them stick, some of them don't. And actually, that's a side of the business we do find exciting as well, because we can come up with products that people like, develop them from scratch, and bring them to market. So it gives us an opportunity with our trade partners to offer them some of the best products in the world from great manufacturers in Europe because of the volume, but also some bespoke British-made products that we can design, play around with, and really get our teeth into. So yeah.
And you distribute all across the UK?
So for products that we import, so the likes of Bayroll, Polytropic, Wybotics, Cover Seal, some of the really best brands that are available in the market, we just generally concentrate on the UK, Ireland and Channel Islands. But for our heat form branded items, so particularly our Swimjet-Velocity and our panel pools, we are starting to export that to other countries, particularly India at the moment on the Swimjet, and a little bit into Europe at the moment, yeah.
Ah.
And well, I guess we get into it a little bit deeper once we are talking, but so you are manufacturing the Swimjet?
Yeah. So in Plymouth, as well as our main distribution hub, we manufacture Velocity Swimjet. We manufacture the heat form panel pool system, which is really popular with the commercial market in the UK. So swim schools where people are renting a warehouse, for example, putting a freestanding pool in. Heat form's perfect for that because it's insulated with recycled plastic bottles. So a standard pool has about 9,000 half-litre recycled plastic bottles in the walls to keep the insulation in. We also do our own slatted covers as well that we manufacture down in Plymouth, and we design and do all the metalwork and electronics and things, yeah.
Wow. You're
Amazing.
really wide spread it what you do, no? What kind of what you offer actually?
Yeah,
no?
I think so. And I think it's also for us, it's looking at what can we do as good, if not better, than what's available and what we can't. So there's products out there that we distribute that actually we'd never touch. We look at it and go, that's the best product in the market. Can we improve it? No. So actually we don't need to. Let's just bring it in from a good manufacturer. Other things we look at and go, do you know what? That's great, but it could be better. It could be more energy efficient, more powerful, more ecological, all those things. So that's when we look at it and go, actually, we can do that better ourselves. So let's look at it from there.
Yeah, it was actually kind of like, as we have in a podcast, just for everybody also to know, we have a little storyboard. And the next question would have been, so, you are one of the independent distribution companies in the UK.
The only.
The only, actually.
I correct you on that, Michael. We're not the only independent distributor in the UK. I think we're probably the broadest independent distributor in the UK because there's all the other companies who we work with or alongside that we get on very well with. I think in this polarized world that everyone's seeing, particularly the corporate growth that's happening, UK, obviously the corporate growth is coming from Europe because of bigger markets, it's becoming even more polarized with acquisitions and things like that. So you haven't got two tiers, but you've almost got two kind of separate ethoses and viewpoints of how it works. So you've got your big corporates. We all know who they are. They're big in Europe, they're big in the UK. Yeah. Then we've also got in the UK probably 4 or 5 independent distributors who have their specialisms. The likes of, I don't mind mentioning Powerman Pools, Plastica a little bit, Fairlocks a little bit, Aquaflex who do the liners, but they've all got their specialisms that everyone knows them for. I think we're probably one of the only ones who's got a very good broad range of products that covers everything, Yeah,
that was what I actually meant more. The distributors that only do liners, it's more like a dealer than a distributor.
Yeah, exactly that.
And you're distributing a broad package.
Yeah, we pretty much do everything apart from white goods, your skimmers and your pipework. We pretty much cover every other product that's available for swim pools,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was actually then the question: what makes you different and special from all the others?
I think there's twofold there. One is our ability to offer a solution to pretty much every problem with a product or with knowledge, and that's by having that broad range of products, 100%. So customer can come to us, trade partners can come to us, and we can pretty much satisfy their whole order. The second thing, which I think really does set our model or us apart, is the knowledge, because of our technical knowledge. You know, we're engineers at heart, so if someone's got a problem with a pool, we actually understand swimming pools. We're not.
You definitely are.
We're not. Yeah, we're not box shifters. You know, we're not. We're not there to take 10 boxes and sell them at a margin. We're there to 10 boxes and sell them to the right person for the right reason, for the right application,
Right.
so that they're looked after and satisfied. You know, my priority has always been technical knowledge and technical support, as opposed to boxes and volume. I mean, volume is great, don't get me wrong, but you know, we're in this to support our customers from a real engineering point of view as well as a product point of view.
Yeah.
And because of that, do you then have, or is that maybe a silly question, that pool builders that have to make something for a high-end client and don't know too much about it themselves, which I see in the pool business more and more, the lack of knowledge of pool builders, then you are the right company to go to, because you can actually even help them with design? Or is that a bit too far?
No, I would say yes. I think there's a threshold where people use external designers. You know, there's quite a few companies, the consultants in the UK, who do the full designs, but we actually work quite closely with them.
Okay.
But yes, we do, because, like, for example, with the Bayroll controllers,
Yeah.
you know, the dosing systems, they do so much more than people realise. And actually, since we've got involved with it, we're educating. This is what the training centre here in Whitney's for. Is doing the education, and the amount of every single training session we do, people are like, I didn't realise it did all that. And it's actually understanding the products rather than just putting it on the wall and doing, for example, pH and chlorine.
Yeah.
It's a pool control system. It can do everything. So why are you buying 3 systems when you can do it all with one? And that comes just from knowledge and giving them the confidence that when they're installing it, and like you said, people are the learnings within the industry. There's a lot of young people joining the industry.
Right.
Because the original guys are actually retiring. And
Exactly. Same in Europe.
Yeah, it's no one's fault. It's just the nature of the evolution of time. And there are a lot of young people coming in, they don't understand the products. And our job is to go, and this is what I think the fundamental role of a distributor is, it's not to shift boxes, is to be that next level of knowledge above the pool builder, probably just one step below the manufacturer, or even as much as the manufacturer.
Yes.
Because at that point, you guys or the manufacturers, they employ us as distributors to know the products and to give that support to the clients. The clients are looking towards us to say, that's great, I know it does this, but I've got a problem. We can't just read out a manual, because they've read the manual. They're phoning us because they've already gone through the manual, generally, not all of them. You hope they have, you know. And so, but if we haven't got that knowledge, then what is our point?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I think you say something super interesting. And we are actually here where we are in the podcast at the moment. It's really at your training center.
Yeah.
And
I must say it's very impressive.
Yeah, so we built this November, I would like to think back, November 23, I think, or maybe 22, I can't remember.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago, with that mindset that actually we were originally going around the country. We had what we called the burger van. So going back 6-7 years, we actually bought literally a food truck trailer, and we kitted out as a swimming pool equipment. And there was a full working pool within it, everything on display. And what we would do, myself and John, we'd take it in turns. We'd drive around the country to pool companies. We'd pull up, we'd open it up, we'd get the coffee machine on, get the croissants out and things like that, and show them all the equipment working in this essentially food truck. And it was nicknamed the burger van, so we turned up with it. It was really quite funny. But it worked, because people were going, oh, we understand it. We physically can see it. We can touch it. It's not a catalogue. It's a product. It's a real product. And you know what you're talking about. So the idea of the training centre was to expand that to be able to accommodate more and more people. And I think last winter we had about 420 pool engineers through the door for training over the winter. We're just about to launch in a couple of weeks the schedule for winter 25-26. We'll probably have the same in again.
When will it be?
We start in October and we run through to February because that's the window when people have got time to come in and educate them. After that point, what we found 2 or 3 years ago when we first did it, the March sessions literally had hardly anyone in them because everyone was getting busy. And because we can't time when the sun comes out, we've got to be careful on that. So
yeah. That's interesting, very interesting. And do you then also invite manufacturers, or is it generally done by your own people, you and your own people?
We do have a little bit of that, but again, we did originally, and Bayrol were absolutely, because as you know, Bayrol's a big company, lots of products already established in the UK. When we first launched the Bayrol brand through the training centre as well, they came over and they helped us massively. They came over to do the training. Alphonse came from the water treatment, Elia from Technic. They did that training for us. But after about 12 months, we had the knowledge.
Yeah.
I've got Kath, my water treatment manager. She presents the water treatment side of things.
Right.
I do the Technic because I really enjoy it.
Right.
I really enjoy getting my head into it and things like that. But the manufacturers do support us. But again, going back to what I was saying a minute ago, it's our job to be able to give that support. So because it's our job to give that support, we now take it on. But if there's a new product that we need a bit of support, manufacturers normally come over.
Perfect.
Really good.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I just can say, as I know you, that you're really into it. When you present a product, it's like you perform so amazingly, and I've seen it.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah,
it's
true.
I think it's easy to present a product you like.
Yeah.
If you understand it, it works, and you have faith in it, it's easy to say to someone, "This is how it works. I think it's the best product for that job." And that's quite straightforward. I think that's the ethos of what we've done, myself and John, particularly over the past 3 years since our business changed with supply chains and things like that. We've gone out there and we've looked at so many products, so many manufacturers, and picked what we believe is the best available. And we've just launched Power Lighting from Australia a month ago, and by far the best lighting system I've ever seen in swimming pools. I've been in it for 25 years, John's been in it for 30 years. We've both gone, that's going to be a product that's going to change our business. And we've done that with everything. Benkei filters, that was a big thing for us. The absolutely amazing product. You look at it and go, that's different, that's amazing. And all the other things, white box, polytropics, Bayrol, all the same. And that's one of the key points of what we were about, is finding something good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And just popped up this question. Do pool builders sometimes come here with homeowners just to have a look?
Yes, particularly for Velocity, the swim jet, and for Cover Seal. So those two products, we get swimmers coming in here quite regularly to test the jet. And I will be honest, we've not had one swimmer come in and swim against our jet and not buy one.
Well.
And I have tried others. And that is a tantamount to the product. But also, as you can see, the training centre, you come in, you see it, you try both versions, the hidden and the overall, and you go away going, that's what I want.
Yes,
You're creating a dream. You're creating a dream for people, and that's the important thing.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Well, that was the initial slogan of the podcast was, we talk about dream pools around the world, and you just said this.
Exactly.
That is true.
Marketing. There was something you were going to ask.
Because I'm always amazed. I also try a bit on LinkedIn. Sometimes I post some videos. Maybe people have seen it. But I think you are not only a technician, engineer, and developing products and so on, but you're also an amazing marketing guy.
Thank you.
It's true. I see you present all the time.
On LinkedIn, yes.
Yeah,
you are
on
very
LinkedIn, and you do videos. I see also the trainings and all the new products, and it's
I think that goes back to what you said at the start about being a family business. Now I run the business, but on the marketing side, my wife helps me massively on that. We kind of do it together because she's got a background in entertaining people through museums. So working in a big museum sector all around the world. She worked in Paris and things like that. So she brings a completely different aspect to what we do and viewpoint. Yeah. And that really, really helps. But again, it's going back to knowing your product. If you know your product, then you know what people want from your product. So you can present it in a way where they go, that's what I want. That's triggered my mindset to go, that's what I want, that's what I'm looking for. But also we can add, I think, a personal feel to the marketing. It's all too easy to become very, dare I say, corporate, whereby there's no kind of real feel to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what we
You feel it, yeah?
Yeah, we feel it. So when you feel it, you know your product. It's again, going back to what I said.
And then you know what you want to, how to do the marketing, right?
It's easy to sell.
Yeah.
Because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
You are. You're not just trying to tick another box.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, actually, I get this product. This is what we're going to do. And I hope that's why certain manufacturers have chosen us as their distributors in the UK, because they've seen that passion and that understanding, and want to associate with what we can do and what we can offer.
Right.
To their business.
Right.
And stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and before we move on to the velocity, where I have many questions, of course,
Okay.
you wanted to ask also a little bit regarding the website where it was published, the future.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. And we have that debate quite a lot internally. The future for us is definitely going to be growing our existing range of products. I do feel that over the past 6 to 12 months in particular, we've really hit a point of there's not many gaps in our arsenal that we need to fill. So the future on our product side of things is to grow, cement, and build all the brands that we offer within the UK market. I would like to see us to be the go-to for everyone, 100%. I never see a reason why not, because I think we're pretty good at what we do. So on that side of things is to build and build and build within the market, so that we're the tip of everyone's tongue for the right products. On our own branded stuff, however, particularly Velocity, I know Mike wants to cover that in a minute,
Yeah.
that we see a global demand that can be built with the right marketing, with the right partners, with the right approach. And that is definitely over the next 12 to 24 months where there'll be some focus to build that into the areas. Because as you guys know, having been in the industry for a long time, products take time to develop, they take time to build. And you do get teething issues. I'm not going to deny that. You do get teething issues. How you deal with them is tantamount to the importance of a business. Do you walk away, do you ignore it, or do you deal with it? Do you redevelop, do you redesign? But our Swimjet now is at a point where it's nigh on nearly perfect.
Right.
And we're ready now to expand that into other markets and things.
But I mean, I really like that dynamic, no? Because I think, let's say, I say UK and Europe, no? I think really, I mean, I'm not a politician, but I have to say that. But we really need to be ambitious and see what is going on in the future, no? We cannot just stay where we are and see. So I think it's really nice to have companies like that who really work on this future.
Yes.
Always an idea ahead, as we say. Yeah.
And on the other hand, expanding like we are also doing out of Germany, outside Europe means has an effect on your organization. Shipping, export documents, unless you outsource that.
Yeah, and it is difficult, particularly as a small business, because you have a million hats that you put on every morning.
Yes.
And you've got to choose which one you're going to use.
Yes.
That's the biggest challenge. And the biggest challenge for us is going to be with the future is expanding the way we work, our customer base, our business, without diluting and affecting the core ethos of the business and how we support our customers. That's my job. That's the difficulty of my job, is to make sure that actually, whether we're supplying 100 pool builders or 500 pool builders, they all get the same service.
Yeah.
And I think that's the challenge that every business worldwide has. And there's transitions of that. And as you get bigger, to try and keep that feel and that approach and that service is a challenge, but it's doable. It really is doable with the right, you look at the likes of Apple.
Yeah.
No one complains about Apple's service.
Yeah.
No one complains about Apple's products. Some people complain about the profits they make and all those kind of things. But when you walk into an Apple store, your phone's broken, they give you a new one. They repair it. All those things happen.
Yes.
So it is possible to do that. I would like to think in the pool industry, some people do it really well. Some people are struggling with that. And, our job is to do it well, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, and of course, me as part of Fluvo, I'm very interested in all technologies concerning countercurrent units. And as we don't bite each other, it's a complete different system.
Yeah.
The one with the standard centrifugal pump compared to the hydraulic system you have. And I'm very much interested. How was it born?
Okay, so it was interesting. So we developed the heat form panel pool system. I think.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. So velocity is it like a model of the heat form system, or
So heat form's the overarching brand that we
Yeah.
developed. And that's kind of like your Lighthouse own label, should we say?
Okay.
And there are some other things coming into that over the next 6 months.
Right,
So we developed that originally. So it was originally developed for a pool panel system,
right,
which is, like I said earlier, insulated with recycled plastic bottles, with a pool lining in it. Really popular in the UK, particularly in the commercial market. It can grow elsewhere. We just got to work on that. But it's something that we've designed, we manufacture, and that's our brand. So we started doing that in about 2019 kind of time, myself and John. John was probably a bit the driving force on the panel pool system due to his previous experience working for other companies like Riviera Pool in Germany and things
Yeah.
like that. So he had a lot of knowledge. And we've developed that into a really good little product. But what we found was people were buying heat form and they were putting in someone else's jet. So they're buying small pools, particularly just as COVID started to hit, and everyone wanted small pools, exercise pools, swim jets, all become really popular. And it was a little bit painful for me to see to see that happen. They'd buy the kit and say, "Oh yeah, but we're putting in so and so's jet." And we did have a jet in our catalogue at the time, but it was very much I suppose a family jet rather than a sport jet, should we say, a proper sport jet.
big difference. Yes,
There is a big difference. And just by our nature, we were looking at the market, looking at what was available, and looked at certain things in the market and thought, we could do this. Or actually we could have a look at this and see if it's possible. And we looked at lots of different models and came up with some ideas, which we got patents on and things like that to develop velocity. As I think with a lot of products that are developed in the world, in hindsight, if you did it again, there's a lot of pain going through, but we're through that and we're at a really good spot. So yeah, it was literally through a demand at the time, really, and a desire to. And actually, we'd been looking at doing a swim jet for probably 3 or 4 years before. It just seemed to be a product that captured our imaginations, and thought, well, we could do something with this. This is quite exciting. Yeah.
and well, the biggest question I have with this kind of system: what made you choose for a hydraulic system rather than just with a pump, like some of your competitors
Yeah,
do?
yeah, no, that's a really valid question. And actually, that I think comes down to my personality.
Right,
I don't see the point in doing things if it's not going to make a difference.
right,
Okay. So I was looking at it and go, well, if we're going to do a jet, it's got to be the best swim experience, the most powerful, the biggest, the best, the fastest, should we say?
right.
Because all you do, if you don't do that, you just blend in with the noise of everyone else. So
Yes.
and in my opinion, and I think in most swimmers' opinions, the hydraulic, because you can create such a large flow,
Yeah.
it's 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters block of water.
Yeah.
From a professional swimmer's point of view, it's the best swim experience for technique, for learning techniques and things like that, having a block of flow rather than a jet or a very narrow swim flow. So that's really, to get the level of power and volume you need, if you wanted to do it on low voltage electricity, 24 volts, you need a motor the size of the swimming pool to make that actually happen, with the torque and with the flow. So hydraulic really was the only route we could go down. Also, the engineering for low voltage electric motors is very specialist.
Yes.
And actually probably a little bit more cost effective to develop a hydraulic jet as opposed to a electric one.
And you have two versions. We can see also here in the training center. You have one, which is put on in the pool,
Yeah.
which sticks out, and then the inbuilt version.
Exactly, and that's again going back to seeing a problem and looking at a solution. So the feedback we were getting quite early days was people like buying certain jets because they're hidden away, because they can't see them in the pool.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, well, let's see if we can make a development that works hidden, and it actually is probably about 50% of the velocity sales are the hidden version. Very popular. Again, that's evolved in design, so now it's very much off the shelf, very easy to build, very easy to stick and install in any pool, and it is a very popular system that we do sell. And I think the furthest that hidden system's gone is Slovakia, and actually we had a customer from Slovakia who, I think it's Slovakia or Slovenia, I'm not sure, apologies on that one. They actually flew over specifically to Whitney, to the training centre, to test the jet. They've done the research, they came over and tested it, and they purchased it and put it in their pool over there. I got pictures of that, yeah. So, and they were really pleased. So it just shows that the reach of something, people are looking for something different, specialist, and that's where a swim jet is. Dare I say it, a pool pump's a pool pump's a pool pump, a half horsepower pump's a half horsepower pump, whereas a swim jet is very specific.
One of the other things that really amazes me, you do everything with single phase pumps.
Yes, so this was and this is where we've actually got a patent in the UK, and it's pending in America and Europe and Australia at the moment. Essentially, we looked at other things on the market, and what you find is when you get to a certain power level, you've either got to have single phase 50 amps, so very large feed, or you've got to have three phase.
Right.
Now, in the UK, single phase is prominent. Three phase is actually quite rare in a domestic setting. Unlike Europe, I've been in France a lot, you can get three phase quite easily.
Yeah.
So we had to make sure that single phase was the main option. And then we looked at it and thought, well, 40 amps, 50 amps to run single phase, it really restricts on plant rooms, on end of gardens, that kind of thing. So then we started looking at the inverter technology, which is already implemented in pool pumps, and thought, well, actually, why don't we just get a single phase motor, or three phase motor, apologies, and get a single phase to three phase inverter.
Ah, yes.
And then we apply that to a swim jet, and that's where the patent sits, because it's using an inverter system to power a hydraulic swim jet. And what you get there means that you can actually run on a 20 amp feed.
Yes.
And rather than changing the flow of the oil, we change the speed of the motor.
Right.
So your energy efficiency drops off, goes up really high. So your energy consumption drops off a cliff for comparative machines in the market. So the customer saves money.
Which is a big topic.
It is a big topic, and the ethos behind the Heatform brand is ecological, doing everything we can to help the environment, at the same time providing products of the performance that's unrivaled.
It's amazing, because what you get out because of using an inverter with relatively small motor,
yes,
is amazing.
Exactly. So our input to output ratio is so much higher and better. It's like a heat pump, our COP, for example, of our jet is actually a lot broader than most things available, and that's where power and performance and efficiency was where our three kind of ideas were to do our own swim jet.
Amazing. Yeah.
And you are a specialist, Michael, in this, no? So when you say this is amazing, it is amazing.
Thank you.
The velocity is so different than anything else in the market. There's nothing like it. You have your standard, let's say, point. I call it point countercurrent systems, like we do mostly, and most other Germans. Then you have your turbines, and then you have this system, which is really different than the rest. And there are definitely many advantages of this system.
I think going back to what Angela was saying about particularly us as Europeans, and we're still Europeans. I'm still European, 100%. We've got to develop, and we've got to look at things and go, well, actually, does it work? What's good? What's not so good on a product or in the market? And how can we make it better or more efficient? Which is why we went down this route, because actually we looked at other things in the market and said, well, that works really well, but it's been the same for 30 years or 20 years. And how can we make it better?
Okay, well, let's come to a general, I come from the contact current system actually, because you told us before when we talked a little bit about what we talk about. You told us that actually this year is a good weather in the UK. You have it's all there, but you have a lot of retrofit pools where actually one of yours velocity can be used,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And what is the UK pool market? What's going on? How is it?
I would say it's, and this is obviously a personal opinion because obviously you see it from our side. Everyone's different how they see it. I would say it's good because of the weather. It's good. The economy, the political side of the UK is a lot more stable than it was last year. So those things are all playing in our favour. But on the flip side, the economy is still quite suppressed. I think we are back to normal post-COVID from an industry.
Yeah.
In the sense that actually the sun shines, we get lots of business. It rains, we don't. That's just the nature of it. I think the new pool business is still quite low and suppressed. Is that because of the economy? A little bit, yes. Credit's not available freely, particularly for those middle section customers, the ones who would borrow, maybe would buy a conservatory, or maybe buy a fast car, actually, or buy a swimming pool. But I think there's still also a little bit of a hangover from when people put new pools in COVID. There's still that boom. Somebody who might have put a pool in has already done it because the boom was so high.
Yeah.
So they kind of put the pool in, and actually they might have waited 3 years, which would be the year now, this business, but they did it quickly and did it then. So I don't think it's not dire. It's actually really quite good. The spring's been really good. Next week's looking really hot. But generally, we are much more weather dependent now than we were in COVID. So going back to 2018, 2016, that kind of time where it was weather dependent, yeah, definitely.
Well, and we also believe, many people working in the industry across Europe, that the whole situation in the world makes people kind of worried. I'll just keep my money for now.
Yeah.
That's another,
it is another factor, but then on the flip side of that, if the weather gets good, people want a bit of feel-good factor.
Exactly.
So if there's lots of negativity
and
the weather's good, they go, let's just look after. Like in COVID, people stayed at home, so they create their holidays at home. When the world gets issues going on, and whether it's wars, political, anything like that, people say, actually, we'll stay at home. So what can we do to improve our day-to-day life as opposed to our traveling life?
Yeah, that's so true.
And I'm very happy we did talk about the weather once we are here in the UK. So it's a must.
Always have to, yeah. Always have to.
Yeah, well, you see this across Europe. It's tomorrow in Holland. It's going to be 30 degrees.
Yeah.
And then all the pool builders are happy, basically.
We've got that next week. I think it's 28, 29 next week in the UK. It's warm today, but yeah, it's going to be really nice and sunny. So
and it's all on the other end always so funny. People decide to buy a pool when the weather is nice. Once it's installed, it could be totally different, right? It's an impulsive decision almost.
It is. It's funny actually, I've got a customer who got a really good online system for ordering. So they do all their quotes online. Their end users can go online, accept the quote, pay the deposit, all remotely online. It works really, really well. They told me that actually 80% of their pools get bought after 11 o'clock at night. So people are sat with a glass of wine, relaxing.
Oh, really?
And they said the amount of deposits that are paid after 11 o'clock at night is amazing. And it's that impulse decision process.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I'm relaxed after my glass of wine. I want a pool.
Exactly. So yeah, it's quite interesting that, definitely.
Okay. Well, probably the last question. Do you have some kind of story, UK pool story?
Well, the thing with the burger fan, I thought was quite a story, but
yeah, I think that's probably our best story going around the burger van. I think you've put me on the spot there, Angela. I would say, I think, talking of stories, I think some of the stories are still to come.
Yeah,
I think that going back to the future, I think the story of Heatform, Lighthouse, us as a business, I think we are still in the early stages actually, and I think some of the stories that are going to be told in the future are still to be written by us and our customers. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your time and a very
Well, thank you.
interesting story of the first of all how the company name Lighthouse started. I
Yeah.
didn't have a clue, and how you know the company grows. It's really fascinating. And so, Angela, what did you learn today?
I learned actually a lot. I mean, first of all, a lot of respect for this self-made man who is so capable of a lot of things. It's always very inspiring, those
Yes,
people, I
yeah,
have to
definitely.
say.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, it's just really, this is something I always, also for young people, no? Don't just sit, just do it. And yeah, you have developed, I learned a lot about the concurrent system
Good.
and that you need a block flow, actually, that this is the
Yeah.
ideal thing. Marketing. And what else did I learn? I learned about the training, that you actually, that training is very important. And,
Yes, definitely.
and also, I think for other companies, even though you grow, never leave a customer behind. You still do the service in the same way as you did before. We talked about the future, which I think is a big topic. As an old European Germany guy, I think we really need to focus on the future. And that's already a lot, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, well, I have very little to add to that, but I would definitely say the concept of educating pool builders is essential in this nowadays. It was in the past as well, but you had many older, knowledgeable people, and now they're all disappearing, almost like,
Yeah.
in the whole of Europe. And it is a massive problem for manufacturers because the manufacturers have to support this as well.
Definitely.
And so you need the better you educate, the easier you will have it. That's what I've learned. So, you can write us with any comments or questions at mail@swimmingpool-podcast.com.
Yes, and today, because we are expert managers and we are very international as we travel almost around the world all the time, so we add languages actually. So I'm saying goodbye,
Danke,
gracias,
merci,
xie,
dankjewel,
spasiba, shukran,
terima kasih.
why terima kasih? Come on.
I'm quarter Indonesian. I lived in Indonesia from my 7th to my 11th, so I speak the language, and terima kasih means thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Swimming Pool International, the Swimming Pool Podcast.